your number one source for high school sports. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.
I'd like to say hello and welcome everyone to Rip Hughes Stadium tonight. Along with Ron Herring, I'm Jeff Speed. The 2004 City Bowl game between the Northview Cougars and the Dothan High Tigers. Ron, we're about ready for the coin toss, and the fans are hyped up all over the stadium.
They are, Jeff. Stadium's decorated tonight, both in garnet and gold over on the Northview side, red and black on the Dothan side. The seniors for both squads represent the teams as captains tonight. And Jeff, you can throw the records out. You can count on a barn burner whenever the Dothan High Tigers and the Northview Cougars tee it up.
Oh, yeah, you can always expect that. Expect a good ball game, as you said, Ron, no matter what the records are. That is not an indication of what this type ball game is. And I was telling you and Mitt earlier, who, by the way, we're glad to have Mitt with us tonight running the camera. I've kind of given this a new name. We're going to start calling this the Den Bowl, because either we're going to win it, whoever wins, we're going to either play in the Cougar Den for a year, or we're going to play in the Tiger Den for a year.
So whoever wins is going to get to claim Rip Hughes Stadium as their official home field for the entire year next year, and the losing team will have to borrow the stadium from the winning team.
Exactly. It looks like the coin toss has been done. Dothan won the coin toss and has elected to give up the ball to the second half. The Northview Cougars, Ron, will receive it to start off with.
Tigers getting ready to come on the field, and here they come. Dothan High coming into the game at 3-4. Northview 0-6. Dothan High, they're turning the rotation for the home field honors. They'll be dressed in the black pants, the red shirts tonight. Northview in the garnet pants and the white shirts.
And here we go. We're ready to get the game started for the 2004 City Championship between the Northview Cougars, the visiting team, and the Dothan High Tigers, the home team. And I'm going to tell you what, the Dothan High side is packed. They've played good ball all year, and they brought the fans out tonight. The Cougar side, on the other hand, as we said, have had a disappointing year. But they still have quite a number of fans over here. But nonetheless, the records are gone. Right now, it's like they're 0-0, getting ready to get started for this ball game. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen is right, Jeff. We're just getting ready to Drew Johnston's teeing it up for Dothan High. It looks like back deep for Northview. Number 4, A.J. Batts. Number 18 is, is that 19, Brandon Martin? And I can't pick up the receiver on the near side, but
I can't either. It don't look like the Cougars have everybody listed on their squad, but we'll pick them up hopefully throughout the ball game. Well, Ron, here we go. We're set ready for the kickoff for the 2004, and it is a deep kick. Goes in through the end zone, so the Cougars will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line for this, another start of the 2004 Northview Cougar Dothan High Tiger football.
Jeff, as it is a home game for Dothan High, we've called the Dothan High games this year. Scenic Cable's had another group calling the Northview game, so if we seem to know the Dothan High side better than the Northview side, you have to forgive us. But we're looking for a good ball game out of two good ball clubs tonight, despite records. Northview's got the ball 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. Quarterback under center takes and hands off to his tailback. Second man through. And he's going to pick up about 4 yards.
If you notice, Ron, the Northview Cougars tonight, in at quarterback number 7, Sterling Wimbish. He is only a sophomore, so the Cougars must be looking for something real big out of him in the next coming years.
The Cougars do have a young team, as they announced the seniors coming out, Jeff, that they didn't have very many seniors, if you noticed, across the field. So we'll be looking for big things from the Northview Cougars in the years to come. Wimbish under center, handoff, and he drops the ball.
Looks like the Tigers have recovered the fumble on about the 18-yard line. 1st and 10 Tigers.
So a tough break for Northview starting out. And the Dothan High Tigers get a big break here early in the game.
It looked as though Wimbish had a little trouble there on the handoff as they came up. He kind of bobbled the ball or either got it knocked out of his hand and then wasn't able to get back on it to recover it.
I couldn't tell if he hit the back and the hip as he was trying to hand off or.
The Tigers had good pursuit once again on defense. So here we go. Tigers take over 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. Adams under center. Adams hands the ball off over the right side. I couldn't tell who got the ball, Ron.
Terrell Brooks.
Caleb Dick is who I thought it was, but I wasn't for sure. Young player for the Tigers. He's only a sophomore also. Caleb picks up about 7 yards on the play, bring up 2nd and 3rd. Terrell Brooks, I'm sorry, is that who was carrying? Okay, my bad. Terrell Brooks, not Caleb Dick. So the Tigers have it 2nd and 3 from the 13-yard line of the Cougars. Adams under center. Foster goes in motion. Handoff again to Brooks, and looks like he's going to be close to the first down, Ron. Depends on the spot, somewhere about the 8-yard line. If it is, that will be a Tiger first down.
He's down to the 3-yard line, Jeff, and it is a first down. Dothan High coming out, running the ball. A power offense. And able to pick up a first down in the first 2 plays and got a 1st and goal there inside the 5-yard line of Northview.
3-yard line. What did I say? The 8-yard line? Boy, I'm about 5 yards behind the game here, but that's all. That's part of it. This game's got me even hyped up here.
So Northview and Dothan in the region. Northview is out of the playoff picture. Dothan High with a win against Northview tonight. Go ahead and call the game here.
Adams under center, 1st and goal. Pitch out to Keon Young around the right end, and he's going to the corner, and he's knocked out of bounds. It looks like about the 2-yard line. Gain of maybe 1 on the play. Bring up 2nd and goal for the Cougars. Now go ahead, Ron, what you were saying with the playoff hopes.
As I was saying, Dothan High with a win tonight and then a win against Smith Station and an Enterprise win against Central of Phoenix City would put Dothan High in 4th place in the region and put them into the playoffs. So the Tigers, you can bet, won't be letting up here tonight.
Adams hand off to Terrell Brooks over the left end, in for the touchdown. Touchdown Tigers. So with 10:02 to go in the first quarter, the Dothan High Tigers strike first with 6 points on the board off of a miscue by Wimbish for the Cougars, and the Tigers convert 6 points. Extra point attempt is up and good. So with 10:02 to go in the first quarter, Tigers up 7-0 over the Northview Cougars.
Jeff, that was a big break for Dothan High early in the game, as they have been on the other end of the breaks in the last couple of weeks, having lost in overtime in the last 2 weeks to Auburn and Niceville.
Yeah, and like you said, it was, as we saw there with Wimbish on the miscue, that's the same thing that's happened to the Tigers throughout the year. They've had their opportunities, they've been in ball games, and they've just lost it in the late end of the game with the turnovers. I believe the Cougars have had some problems like that also, maybe not turnovers, but they've been in the last 3 or 4 ball games up until this ball game. The Cougars have played good ball, and they're starting coming back a little bit. And there, they get the ball first, and just a little, like we said, a little miscue by Wimbish, and Tigers strike first.
Northview 2 weeks ago took Smith Station into overtime and lost 21-14, I believe it was. And Smith Station last week turned around and beat Auburn, who was the leader in the region with no losses in the region. They were 5-1 at the time. Smith Station turned around and beat Auburn last week. Johnston gets off a high, deep kick down to about the 3-yard line, where number 4, A.J. Batch, takes it, and he's going to get up to about the 17, 18-yard line before he's upended. Going to bring up a 1st and 10 from there.
Well, I tell you what, the fans are in this ball game, and I'm going to tell you, I don't know about you, but it's hard to hear.
The band's going at it, the student sections, a lot of students here, and a lot of middle school students, it looks like, here in front of us. And If we holler, it's because we can't hear ourselves. Northview comes up, Wimbish at quarterback. 1st and 10 from their own 18. He's going to hand off to the second man through.
Stop was made finally by Paul Reeves. Looked like he was tripped up by Dent as he came through the line, and then Reeves finally stopped him after a gain of about 6 on the play run.
That was number 31, Justin Brooks, on the carry, and that was a quick pickup of 6 yards as the offensive line of Northview did a good job of giving him a gap, and all he needed was a little crease, and he picked up a quick 6 yards to make it 2nd and 4 here. Wimbish under center. He's going to turn and hand off to his fullback.
Gain of about 2 on the play. Stopped by a whole host of Tigers.
See Jeremy Dent and
Brogdon got up.
Derek Creekmore. Going to bring up a 3rd and 2 for Northview, Jeff.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad to see number 68, Jason Austin's back in there, Ron. Looks like he's ready to play ball, too.
Jason, who we talked about last week, the little Robert Newhouse looking stocky built nose guard for Dothan High, is awful quick, strong.
Tigers show blitz.
Wimbish hands off to his tailback, Brooks.
Stopped in the backfield originally by Derek Creekmore, and then he stood up, spun away from Creekmore, and started out, and then there come a whole host of Tigers in to finish him off. So it looks like Northview's going to have to punt 4th and about 10.
And Jeff, as this is the big game, the big city rivalry, you can look for on the special teams tonight. You can look for some of the stops to be pulled out here.
Exactly. We saw some of them last week, and I imagine there are going to be some tonight on both sides of the ball with Tigers and Cougars probably pulling out some funny stuff both ways.
It didn't look like Northview had enough players on the field. The punter gets off a high spiral that's going to Ontrell Adams is going to pick up about his own 46-yard line and carry out of bounds.
No return on the punt by Adams as the ball kicked, and he fielded it and kind of squibbed out of bounds with it. If you notice on both sides, the Cougars as well as the Tigers have dressed out all the way down through the 9th grade team, and they're trying to get these young players in and get them some experience in the high school level from the 9th grade level, even though they're actually in the high school ranks, but they are changing. So here we go. Tigers bring the ball up. Be 1st and 10 for the Tigers from their own 46. Adams under center. Drops back to pass. He's being rushed hard by the Cougars. Almost intercepted there as Adams tried to force a pass in. I couldn't tell who the defender was. Did a great play breaking on the ball, though.
He was
number
chased.
17. Yes, it was number 17 for Rico Morrison. Forrester. Ramiko did a great job there getting across as he read Adams moving to his left and got in front of him and blocked the ball. So it'll bring out 2nd and 10 for the Tigers.
Adams was chased by number 19, Brandon Martin.
Adams under center for the Tigers. 2nd and 10. Rolls till he keeps the ball. Adams has got a hole over the side. Brings the ball into Cougar territory to about the 40-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Tigers. A good open field tackle there by the Cougars, Ron. Could you tell what number it was?
Tackled by number 20, Trey McKay, the safety. Trey's listed as a sophomore here, wide receiver and defensive back. A good job of open field tackling, or Adams could have been off to the races.
Adams bring the Tigers to the line, 40-yard line, 1st and 10, under center. Caleb Dick, Keon Young in the backfield. Hankies start flying early in this ball game, Ron.
Jeff, looks like we're probably going to have either an encroachment on the defensive side or a false start on the offense, and that's what it is, false start on the offense. Jeff, the Cougar defense over the course of the years gotten better. They have held some teams early in the ball game, some good teams that they've played, just had trouble getting their offense on track. But they should pose a stiff test for the Dothan high-powered offense here tonight.
Well, they're a quick defense, so the Tigers have to watch for that. 1st and 15 for the Tigers from the 45. Adams under center. Pitches out to Caleb Dick around the left end, and he's going to be drugged down in the backfield for another loss of about 3 on the play.
Number 40, he's not listed in the program. Whoever number 40 is made an outstanding play over there on the defensive end as Caleb couldn't get around the end. He had him by the jersey and was sure not to let him go.
He just slipped through the offensive line of the Tigers and made a great play. So it's going to bring up 2nd and about 17 for the Tigers. Adams in the shotgun. Hand off to Keon Young over the right side. Keon still on his feet. Gains up about 12 of the needed 17 yards.
Number 28, Josh Smith on the tackle, along with the unnamed player from Northview, number 40.
Bring up 3rd down and 5 for the Tigers from the 36-yard line of the Cougars. Tigers jumped out to an early strike. 7 points on the board off of a miscue by Wimbish. Adams from the shotgun again. Adams looks back for the pass. Fred Foster in the right, has the ball. Goes forward, looks like he will have enough for the 1st down, but another great play there by the Cougar defense to stop him and not let him get back inside and turn the ball upfield.
Jeff, just as I was getting ready to find number 30, Anthony Spann, who was the initial tackler on the play for Northview, they were just covered up by Northview Cougars.
Looked like Brandon Martin, number 19, got in on the tackle also. But not before Foster picks up the 1st down for the Tigers. It'll be 1st and 10. Adams from the shotgun. Hand off to Keon Young again. Oh, no, Adams keeps the ball, it looks like. And he's going nowhere as a whole host of Cougars tackle him in there. See number 19, Brandon Martin, getting up again.
Looks
Number
like
79, Nicholas Robertson.
Looks like he got back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe picked up a half a yard. Bring up a 2nd and long for Dothan High.
I tell you that even though Tigers struck first, the Cougar defense has not given up. 2nd and 9 for the Dothan High Tigers. Adams in the shotgun formation. Keon Young, the long setback. Looking to pass across the middle, and it's intercepted by the Cougars. He's got some running room up the far side of the field, and he could go long run going down, and he's drugged down at about the 4-yard line. A great defensive play there by the Northview Cougar, the linebacker, or the defensive end. I couldn't tell who it was that got it.
Number 34, Jeremy Thomas, stepped in front of Dontrell Adams' pass and returned it all the way down to about the 3-yard line. Dontrell Adams, as he did have some blockers downfield, Dontrell Adams did a good job of getting back and running him down, showing his speed, and was able to make a shoestring tackle there at the 5-yard line, and Thomas fell to the 3 and got Northview in business 1st and goal from their own 3-yard, or from the Dothan High 3-yard line.
So there we go again. We had a turnover in the 1st quarter for the Tigers. They scored. Now the Cougars have come back. A great interception, a great read by the defense. 1st and goal for the Cougars. See what they do.
Wimbish under center. He's going to hand off to number 4. Number 4, A.J. Batts.
A great hit there by Reeves as he came around the outside to stop for no gain on the play.
A big stick by Paul Reeves coming in on a blitz from around the right side, Northview's right side. He came in and didn't look like he had any opposition from the offensive line as he hit Batts as soon as he got the ball. Second goal from the 3-yard line. Wimbish comes back under center, back stacked in the eye. He's going to hand off to number 31,
and he does get in. Touchdown, Cougars.
Justin Brooks, and he's got a touchdown for Northview. So Northview answers the bell.
A great job there by the runner as he just kind of dove across the left side of the line. He hit one defender for the Tigers, and his momentum and the size, he just carried right on in the end zone for a great score by the Northview Cougars.
So a big play by the Northview defense, and the offense comes down, and they capitalize with 3:04 remaining, pinning an extra point here.
Brooks Latta to attempt. The kick is no good. Looked like he kind of pushed it far to the right, Ron. So that kind of put them a good drive down off a good interception. That is a good run, and then Cougars get on the board, and the score is now 7-6. Dothan High is still up. 3:04 remaining in the first quarter, and a great job by the Cougar defense on that last possession for the Dothan High Tigers. They allowed them to get 2 first downs out of it. And then the linebackers came up big with an interception with a long run back, which actually almost turned into a score on the interception for the Cougars.
You're right, Jeff. Turnovers lead to points. The battle lines have been drawn. We're almost with 3 minutes left in the first quarter. And like we said, you can throw the records out. You can bet whenever Dothan High and Northview tee it up that it's going to be a barn burner. Latta tees it up for the Cougars. He's going to get off a low line drive kick that Keon Young is going to take.
And they're going down him back here at about the 12-yard line, Ron. As he fielded the ball, he's had his left knee was down on the ground.
A good call by the officials. So no return. Ball was fielded at the 14-yard line. That's where Dothan High put it in play.
So the Tigers take over 1st and 10 here and see what they can do with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. The score is 7-6, as we said. Tigers scored first on a fumble by Wimbish, and then turned around. Ontrell Adams threw an interception to the Cougars. They ran the ball back down to the 3-yard line and then pushed it in from there, and that's where the score stands, 7-6 Dothan High. 1st and 10 for the Tigers from their own 14-yard line. Adams under center. Handoff over the left side, maybe a gain of about 3 on the play. Looked like Keon Young was the carrier.
Tackled by a host of Northview Cougars. I see number 85, Thomas Hopkins.
That's even one of those where the PA announcer can't even tell which one made the stop.
Well, the color of the jerseys, Jeff, makes it hard to pick up the numbers without looking through binoculars.
2nd and 6 for the Tigers. Adams hands off to Young over the right side. Got a little bit of a gap. Picks up the first down for the Tigers at about the 26-yard line. But nonetheless, the Cougars had good pursuit there, as they did on the drive a while ago. The Cougars defense is showing some signs of life here, Ron.
They are tackled there by Jeremy Thomas, the young man that made the interception a few minutes ago, and gave Northview a breath of life to pick them up after the early touchdown by Dothan High.
Adams under center, 1st and 10 Tigers from their own 26. Hand off to Keon Young, and he goes nowhere as the Tigers' defensive line just stuffs him at the line of scrimmage.
Hopkins was the first to hit him, number 85.
Ramiko Forrester, I saw him in on the play, number 17.
Northview, they do have a stingy defense. As you said earlier, they're quick. They appear to be strong.
Well, and they're not giving up anything to this Tiger squad. It looks like they're a little outsized as far as on the receiving end of it. But I'm going to tell you, the Cougars aren't going to lay down as we've seen so far. 2nd and 9 Tigers. Adams under center. Keeps the ball, goes over the left side. Going to be run out of bounds.
Number 20, Trey McKay. 28, I'm sorry. Josh Smith. It looked like a 0 from here.
I thought it was Josh Smith, but I wasn't for sure. And I said, well, maybe Ryan saw it better than I did. Adams makes it good enough for a Dothan first down at their own 32-yard line. Sorry, 37-yard line. Okay, never mind. It'll be 1st and 10 Tigers from their own 36.
If all else fails, listen for the PA announcer.
That's kind of what I was listening for because there's so much white down there it's hard to see it. 1st and 10 Tigers, minute 20 to go in the first quarter. Adams under center. Takes the ball up the middle on a little draw play to Brooks. Great run again by Adams. And then there again, another fine stop by the Cougar secondary to stop a long run.
It was number 20, Trey McKay, number 30, I'm sorry. Now he straightens his jersey out, Anthony Spann. In on the stop. I believe McKay was also in on the stop as well.
Number 10, William Williams, also assisted on it. Stopped him before he could get too far down the field. Adams brings the Tigers up again. 1st and 10 from the Cougar 49. Adams under center. Hands off to Brooks. Bouncing off of a couple of defenders there, but it looks like he might have gained maybe one on the play before a host of Cougars swarm him.
I see number 76, Jerry Thomas, the nose guard, coming off the bottom of the pile, doing a good job of stopping up the middle there for Northview.
Well, and if you heard the PA announcer, he said the ball was given to Keon Young. He went wide left as a block, and Terrell Brooks went through the middle with the ball, but that's okay. We're going to take one from him on that one. Bring up 2nd and 9 for the Tigers from the Cougar 48-yard line. Adams keeps the ball, goes through the center. Picks up about 6 on the play, maybe 5.
Tackle by number 34, Thomas. Entrell picked up a quick 8 yards there.
Ron, that's going to do it for the first quarter here from Rip Hughes Stadium for the, as we call it, the Den Bowl. Score after the first quarter, Dothan High 7, Northview 6. We'll be right back.
Your number one source for high school sports. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.
Here we are back for the start of the second quarter. Adams brings the Tigers up to the line. 3rd and 2 from the Cougar 41-yard line. Handoff over the left side to Terrell Brooks, and it looks like he might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. I don't know. I think it's going to bring up a 4th down for the Tigers, Ron.
Jeff, he was hit hard by number 6, John Knight. John Knight, coming from his cornerback position, he did a good job of coming up and taking the play on and stopped Brooks in his tracks.
It's going to be 4th and 1 for the Tigers here. Let's see what the coaching staff for the Tigers do. It appears as though they're going to go for it. This is one of those situations here with the hype in the ball game. You know, the Cougars need to be steady and not jump off sides here and give the Tigers the 1st down. Let's see what happens. Adams brings them up under center. 4th and 1 for the Tigers. And there's just what we talked about. They drew the Cougars off sides and going to pick up the 1st down. And that's what we just talked about. The Cougars did not need to do that. But the excitement in this ball game, it's hard to stay back.
They did. Dothan High picking up the 1st down by the penalty. Keep their drive alive. Northview doing a good job of defensing the Tigers' offense, as they have been able to hold the Tigers, but Dothan High able to keep the drive going there.
1st and 10, Adams under center. Hand off to Keon Young over the right side. Got some running room. Needed one block by Landry Bodie, but he just kind of outrun him. Great run by Keon Young. Gets down to about the 6-yard line of the Cougars, where it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Dothan High Tigers. A little breakdown there, it looked like on the Cougars' defense that time, Ron, as they had good pursuit out there, but he had just a little fake on him, and they got by him.
He did, Jeff. I had a little equipment problem there and looked away. I'd run out of bounds by number 10, William Williams.
And number 10, Trey McKay. So the Tigers first and 10. Hand off to Keon Young over the left side. He gets down to about the 5-yard line of the Northview Cougars. Picks up about 6 yards on the play. The Tigers can still get a 1st down without scoring.
They can, Jeff, just inside the 1-yard line. Northview with their backs to the wall.
I tell you, though, they've got a big defensive line in there. And this is one of those situations where that Cougar defense can come on strong as long as they run up the middle. If they go outside, the Tigers might can get them. Let's see what happens. 2nd down and 4, Adams under center. And that's what we talked about, that good pursuit by the Cougar defense. And as fast as they are, Tony Carroll, number 9, he just swarmed all over Ontrell Adams.
He did, and Ontrell had nowhere to go. He's dropped for a loss of about 4 yards. Going to bring up a 3rd and 9.
So here the Tigers, instead of going forward, go backwards, and that's what I was just talking about with that Cougar defense. They're strong up front and they're quick on the outside, and there they showed the quickness as Carroll came around the right side of the line. He was never touched, and when Adams turned up, him and Keon Young both, either one, Carroll had to stop for a big loss. Looks like the Cougars are going to take a timeout here. They are. I tell you what, Ron, the Cougar defense has come up big so far in this ball game with a turnover. There they held the Tigers down, and they're playing outstanding ball, as well as the Tigers are playing good ball, moving the ball.
They are, and you can look for Northview if they get a big stop here down in the red zone on Dothan High and hold them to 3 points, or even maybe not even 3 points. You can look for the Northview side to pick up, and that adrenaline start kicking in even more, and look for Northview to put the Tigers' backs against the wall.
Oh yeah, and that's one thing we talked about. You know, with the Cougar defense the way it is, the offense can explode at any time. The fans are on the standing up everywhere. On the Cougar side, their side's starting to fill up a little bit. The thing we've got going against us tonight, as far as not having a packed crowd, really, is the Miss National Peanut Festival contest is going on down at the Civic Center, so it's drawn some away from there. But nonetheless, we do have a great crowd here. 3rd and 9 for the Dothan Tigers from the Cougar 10-yard line. Adams under center. Bodie in motion. And we got a flag on the play coming from the far side, so let's see what the call is going to be here.
Looks like it's going to be encroachment.
No, it's going to be a false start on Dothan.
Is it? I thought I saw Ontrell coming over clapping. I thought maybe it was against Northview, but you're right. It's going to back the Tigers up to the 15-yard line. 3rd and 14.
So here we go, 3rd and 14, 9:25 to go in the second quarter of play. Tigers still lead, 7-6. Adams under center for the Tigers. Bodie in motion. Keon Young to long setback. Fakes the handoff to Young, rolls around the left side. Got a lot of running room. Adams goes to the corner, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds about the 3-yard line. About the 3-yard line. And I believe he's going to be short, number 1, of the goal line, and he's going to also be short of the first down by about a yard.
He is, and then the third thing is he's put Drew Johnston into a tough angle for a right-legged soccer-style kicker to be able to make the field goal. Is just what we're going to see here is 4th down and 2 for Dothan High, and Coach Kelly has elected to go with Drew Johnston for the field goal.
Here again, the Cougar defense needs to be patient, not jump off sides to give the Tigers an automatic first down. 4th and 2 for the Tigers. Johnston in for the field goal attempt. Snaps down, kick is up, and it looks like it is good. It's 9:12 to go in the second quarter. Tigers go up front off the Drew Johnston field goal, 10-6.
So a good job by the Northview defense holding Dothan High to 3 points. And Drew Johnston tees it up for Dothan High. Number 4 back deep to receive. Going to get a low wobbly short kick that is going to drop about the 11-yard line. Number 24 is not listed in the program. He picks it up and comes back across the field and then returns it to about the 20-yard line.
Stop made for the Tigers there by Maurice Adams, who we've talked all year on special teams, has done an outstanding job. Here's a call against Northview.
Call is holding against Northview, so that's going to back them up 10 yards.
I tell you, it looked like there for a minute he has some outside running room going back towards the Cougar sideline, and then all of a sudden he just kind of turned back up. I don't know if one of the Tigers got out there and forced him to turn in, but it looked like he had a lot of green there that he could have ran in.
So Northview's going to have it 1st and 10 from their own 10-yard line. Got a new quarterback in the game.
Be number 12, Tommy Gilbert.
Gilbert under center, turns around, pitches to bat around the left end, and he's going nowhere. It's Fred Foster and Brandon Williams there to stop him. Number 12, Tommy Gilbert, a junior quarterback linebacker. You can look from here. He's a pretty thick guy, Jeff.
He is, and he's also a good baseball player for the Cougars baseball team. He's a real strong power hitter. Look for a lot of great things out of him through this year in the baseball season.
Gilbert brings the Cougars to the line. Back stacked in the eye. He's going to drop back to pass. Left-handed.
Little out past the bats there. It was a little short of him as he had a strong rush there by, looked like number 52, Brandon Williams, had the rush and was right up there in his face.
Going to bring up a 3rd and 10.
You know, I said that about Tommy Gilbert. I'm trying to remember if that is the big, strong baseball player or not. I'm not sure. I may have to retract that statement, but I believe he is a great baseball player for the Cougars. We will find out.
Gilbert back to pass. He lost one up for number 30.
A lot of contact
Anthony
down
Spann.
here. A lot of contact down here with Landry Bodie, but that ball was deemed uncatchable. So there was no flags thrown, and it was lofted way over the receiver's head, and they were bumping from the whole line out. So, you know, there you look at the officials. They're letting these guys play ball. They know it's intense, and the officials going to let them play ball.
Number 30, Anthony Spann, back in his own end zone to punt for the Cougars.
Who have we got? Bodie deep for the Tigers.
Looks
Now
like Northview's going to take another timeout. Got
Tyree Dury deep.
We did have Tyree Dury deep in there. Jeff, is it just me, or does it seem like they've played on the either the middle of the field or the far hash most of the first half? It's tough to get a good look at them. If we can get a good look at them for a few minutes and be able to see some of the numbers of the regulars, it might be a little easier.
Well, we try to pick them up too before the PA announcer does, and we want to be the first in the line with the call. But you know, that's part of it. We just have to kind of take them as we can get them.
With several numbers in Northview missing in the program.
I tell you, as we said a while ago, Ron, if you see, the crowd is outstanding on the Dothan side, and there is a good large number for the Cougars in spite of their record this year. And I'm going to tell you, the Cougars, if they've played like this all year, they've had some disappointing losses because their defense has done a great job against this powerful offense of the Tigers.
They have, and we talked about the crowd earlier, and Northview has had several people come in since the beginning of the game. So once again, number 30, Anthony Spann, back in his own end zone to punt for the Cougars.
Tyree Dury deep for the Tigers. I believe that ball was partially blocked.
Got an end-over-end punt. It is out to the 44-yard line after the roll.
So the Tigers will take over 1st and 10 from their Cougar 43-yard line. 8:04 to go in the second quarter. Dothan Tigers lead the Northview Cougars by a score of 10-6, and the score is really does show what this game is like between these two schools. A city rivalry, been going on since 1980, 1979, 1980, somewhere in there. The wins have been switch-swap back and forth. I think the last 2 years the Tigers have won it, and the Cougars coming in here this year and saying, hey, we're going to win it. Adams under center for the Tigers. Hand off to Brooks. Gain of about 4 on the play. Bring up 2nd and 6 for the Tigers. I believe Mitt looked down here and said that was 4 years in a row that the Dothan Tigers have won this. So I'm glad he's up on his stats because we have a hard enough time keeping up with what we do, don't we, Ron?
We do. Mick Kirkland here with us behind the camera doing a good job.
2nd and 6 for the Tigers from the Cougar 40-yard line. Adams under center. Pitch out to Dick over the left side. Picks up about 4 yards on the play. Bring up 3rd and 3. Another great pursuit there by the Cougar defense as they come across to stop Dick before he was able to turn the ball really out far. Now we got a block below the waist against the Tiger offense, so that's going to back them up. Is that a 15 or a 10-yard?
I believe that's a 10-yard, but we're going to find out for sure here in just a minute. As the stop was made there on the play by number 40, who we apologize we don't have his name in the program.
And it is a 15-yard penalty against the Tigers.
Back the Tigers all the way up to their own 45-yard line. Going to be 2nd down and 21.
And I tell you, there again, we saw the speed of the Cougar defense on the linebacker and coming across the defensive ends to get over to Caleb. Yeah, it was Caleb Dick, wasn't it?
It was Caleb on the
All right, here we go. Adams under from the shotgun. Be 2nd and a long 21. Adams takes the ball over the right side. Got a little bit of running room. Looks like he stumbles back to the original line of scrimmage.
Jeff, I don't know if the camera picked it up. There was a big block over there by Landry Bodie. Landry Bodie had a good block to help spring on trail for a few extra yards.
Well, it allowed him then the opportunity to go to the outside and then be able to turn the ball upfield for a positive gain. Nonetheless, Tigers are back in the long situation, 3rd and 10, as we've talked about all year long. Looks like the Tigers are going to take a timeout, and while they take a timeout, so do we. With 6:31 to go in the 2nd quarter, Tigers up over the Northview Cougars by a score of 10-6. We'll be back. Adams from the shotgun formation, 3rd and 10 for the Tigers from the Cougar 44-yard line. Little high snap, looking for a pass across the middle to Tyree Dury. Picks up the 1st down for the Tigers. A little break in the seam there by the Cougar defense and allowed Dury the opportunity to get behind the linebackers, and Adams threaded the needle there between 2 defenders, and Dury made a great catch and moves the ball forward for the Tigers. 1st and 10 from the Cougar 24.
Tyree found a little spot in the zone there, Northview's defense, and good job of William Williams to come up and make the tackle on Tyree there.
1st and 10 Tigers. Adams from the shotgun. Keeps the ball himself, goes straight up the middle, gain of maybe 2 or 3 on the play. It looked like, Ron, that Adams actually was verbalizing that call from the line there. It looked like he moved up and maybe had changed the call.
I couldn't tell if he was trying to set the motion man or if he was changing the call. He picked up 2 yards. Stopped by Thomas and Nicholas Robertson. Going to bring up a 2nd down and a long 7.
Adams from the shotgun for the Tigers. Fumbles the ball on the snap. He's running the back way. He's looking for a man to throw the ball to, and the Cougars pursuit. They lose him in the backfield, and Adams managed to scramble back up to the Cougar about the 22.5-yard line. A great job by Ontrell Adams. A great pursuit by the Northview Cougar defense. They just could not hem him up.
Jeff, it looked like Ontrell wasn't ready for the snap. It looked like maybe the snap surprised Ontrell, and the officials missed the call over here. Tyree Dury picked up a block over here, but you can see from here he got his hand wrapped up in the jersey and shoulder pads of the defender, and Dothan High lucky to get away with a 1-yard loss there.
3rd and 9 for the Tigers from the Cougar 22.5-yard line. Adams from the shotgun. Looking to pass. He's got a man open on the outside. No catch. It goes in and out of the hands of number 8, Landry Bodie. So it brings up a 4th and 9 for the Tigers. Good job there by the Cougar defense.
Brandon Martin did a good job on the coverage there as he got his hand in there. I couldn't see if he touched the pass or not, but
Bodie actually had him beat. It was just the defender was between Bodie and Adams, so it was a good play there by the Cougar defensive again, and it puts the Tigers in a field goal situation here. Drew Johnston will attempt a 40-yard field goal. Kick is up. And it is no good. It looks like it was wide to the left. So the Cougars hold the Tigers again on a great defensive stand by the Northview Cougars. And they get the ball back, 1st and 10.
Northview defense doing a great job of making Dothan earn everything they're getting and giving their offense an opportunity to take the ball back over and without Dothan High putting any more points on the board.
So the Cougars take over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. 5:06 remaining in the second quarter of play. Dothan Tigers lead the ball game 10-6, but it's been a great defensive struggle. Cougars are playing great ball. Tigers are playing great ball.
The handoff is to number 31. That's Brooks, Justin Brooks. And he's going to be out over the 25-yard line to the 26, pick up of 6 yards.
Looked like he was stopped on there by Paul Reeves, and Dent came across and helped him. Great run there as the Cougars, Gilbert just handed the ball off, and Brooks ran over the left side of the line, and good pickup of 6 yards for the Northview Cougars.
Gilbert brings them to the line, back stacked in the eye. The give is to Brooks again off the left side. He's got running room. He's out over the 35-yard line to about the 36. Pick up a first down for Northview.
Stop made by number 3, Tyree Dury, and number 11, John Hughes. Great run there by the Cougars again, and then, of course, another great stop by the Tiger defense as he has some running room on the outside there, and Brooks was headed that way with a big head of steam. And I'm going to tell you what, that's a good-looking running back for the Northview Cougars. Justin Brooks, who is an 11th grader, so we will see him again next year, Ron.
A good job of blocking on the left side of that offensive line for the Cougars. Gives Brooks run room. I see Batts has replaced Brooks at tailback. They got an unbalanced line to this side. Gilbert under center, back stacked in the eye. He's going to pitch it to Batts, who's going to go nowhere as he was stopped by Fred Foster there. Brandon Williams, Fred Foster turned him in.
I'm going to tell you, the Tiger defense got in there and did not allow that play to happen as they broke through the line real quick. The speed of the Tiger defense was just too much for Brooks then. A great pitch by Gilbert. Brooks received the ball well, but there was just nowhere to go when you got 5 or 6 of those big Tiger defensive men up there in your face. He wasn't going anywhere.
I see Brooks is checked back into the ball game for Batts and back at tailback. Gonna bring up a second down and 14. Gilbert hands off to Brooks around the left side. Brooks with running room. He breaks a few tackles and is down to about the 39-yard line.
Brandon Williams tackled him from behind as he was turning upfield with a lot of steam going forward. Cougars have one of their big offensive linemen down, but let's see, he gets up under his own wheel, kind of moving around. Hopefully that's just a little minor shakeup for him.
Jerry Thomas, the injured Cougar, number 76, and he breaks the trot, jogs off, and then continues to walk under his own power. So we hope everything's okay there.
That's a good sight for the Cougars, the big offensive lineman. He went off under his own power. Cougars moving the ball pretty good here.
Gonna bring up a 3rd down and 6 from their own 39-yard line. Gilbert brings them to the line under center. Step back, handoff to Brooks, and he's no running room. I see Jeremy Dent, Fred Glenn. On the stop, bring up a 4th down and 8 as he lost 2 yards there.
Going to put the Cougars back in a punting situation. Tigers had great pursuit there from the defensive line as they got in. Did a good job stopping them before Brooks was able to turn that up. And I'm going to tell you what, I like this running back in Brooks for the Northview Cougars. Justin Brooks, number 31, doing a great job.
Anthony Spann back to punt.
Deep for the Tigers, Zontrell Adams.
Looks like Northview's going to burn their last time out of the first half.
2:16 remaining in the first half. Tigers still lead the Northview Cougars by a score of 10-6. And I'm going to tell you what, the score is representing well of this ball game, which we have said, year long for the Tigers and the last 2 or 3 ball games for the Cougars. And this is a wonderful played first half of ball in 6A football. As we said earlier, the Northview Cougars are winless this year, but you can forget that when these two teams compete against each other, as they're showing here tonight. Both defenses are playing outstanding football.
They are, Jeff, and it's just it represents what the kids in this city, the heart that the kids in this city, in both Northview and Dothan High, the support that they get from the parents, the fans, the coaches, both of these coaching staffs, Coach Chip Harris over the Northview side in his first year at Northview, Coach Jamie Kelly over here on the Dothan High side. They've assembled good staffs and they got good support personnel, and you can look for big things to come from these two teams in the next few years. Span gets his punt off. It's going to be end over end. It's going to take a neutral bounce and going to be down to about the 31-yard line. So Dothan High will have the ball with 2:07 left, up 10-6.
And you can bet this Cougar defense, as pumped as they are, they're going to be coming. They're going to be in Adams' face. They're going to do whatever they can to stop the Tigers' drive here to keep the score at 10-6 going into the halftime break. There is no way that there has been a momentum in this ball game. It's been for both sides. Here we go. Adams under in the shotgun formation. 1st and 10 from his own 30-yard line. Hand off to Keon Young. Scrambles through there and almost breaks through. He gets out to about the 40-yard line. Great pursuit by the Cougar defense, and then, of course, a good run there by Keon Young to kind of squiggle his way through them.
Number 10, William Williams. If he hadn't got his arms wrapped around Keon's ankles there, Keon would have busted that one for a long one, probably would have scored.
Adams from the shotgun again, 2nd and 1 for the Tigers. Pass across the middle to Carlos Frazier, and he breaks into the Cougar secondary, picks up the first down, and gets down to about the 27-yard line of the Northview Cougars as Adams found Carlos Frazier, who found a little seam there again in the Cougar defensive secondary and was able to pick the ball up. A good pass by Adams, and then a good run by Carlos to gain about another 10 yards.
Carlos tackled by number 6, John Knight.
Tigers 1st and 10 from the Cougars 27-yard line. Adams from the shotgun. Hand off to Keon Young over the right side with a little bit of running room. Gets down to about the Cougar 11-yard line before he stopped down there on the play by 3 Cougars. I didn't get the numbers.
I see Williams, Span, and look like number 28, Josh Smith on the tackle. Dothan High is going to take a timeout with 1:13 to go in the half.
With 1:13 to go in the first half, Tigers 1st and 10 from the Cougar 11. Adams under center. Pitches the ball out to Keon Young. Comes over the left side. Gain of about 3 on the play. Bring up a 2nd and 7 for the Tigers.
Number 14 in on the stop. He's another one of those that are not listed in the program. Tigers going to take another timeout with 57 seconds left.
Tell you, the Tigers have moved the ball fairly well this drive, passing, running a couple of plays, but they're moving the ball down the field, and here we are again. They got them down in the red zone again, and we look for that big Cougar defense to come up and pick up. Adams from the shotgun formation, 57 seconds to go in the half. Tigers 2nd and 7 from the Cougar 8-yard line. Looking for a pass across the middle, and it's in and out of the hands of Fred Foster, number 4, in the end zone. Great pass there by Adams. A great route by Fred Foster coming back across the middle, and he was there, and he just couldn't control the ball.
Fred was open, and we hadn't seen that very often from Dothan High from Fred this year. The pass went right through his hands. Going to bring up a 3rd and 8.
Third down for the Tigers. Adams from the shotgun formation. The ball on the Cougar 8-yard line. Pass across the middle, and Bodie that ball's in and out of the hands of Landry Bodie across the middle. So it's going to bring up a 4th down for the Tigers. So the Cougar defense coming up big again, holding them inside the red zone and going to force the Tigers into a field goal situation. Good tip to about a 25.5-yard field goal. 48 seconds to go in the half. Tigers lead 10-6. Kick is up. And this one is good. So with 42 seconds to go in the first half of play, Dothan High Tigers go up over the Northview Cougars by a score of 13-6.
Johnston tees it up and gets the kick away. It's going to be a high, short kick that's going to bounce about the 20-yard line. Northview let it roll and thought it was going to roll out of bounds. And
boy, that's dangerous on the Cougars' the receiving team there, as the Tigers could have recovered that, and that'd been just as good as an onside kick.
A good job by A.J. Batts. So after the personal foul penalty on the kickoff, backs the Cougars up to the 8-yard line. Gilbert brings them up. 1st and 10 from there. He's going to hand off to Brooks. Second man through, and Brooks with running room going to get it up to the 20-yard line. First
down. He does
down.
pick up the 1st and 10.
So 1st and 10.
Be the last play of the first half, it looks like.
Gilbert hands off to Brooks up the middle again, and he's stopped by a host of Tigers in the middle.
And they're going to be content here. The clock's going to run out with a score in the first half of play. Dothan High Tigers 13, Northview Cougars 6. We'll be back.
Your number one source for high school sports. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network. your #1 source for high school sports. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.
Welcome back to Northview Stadium for the start of the second half. Latta tees it up, kicks it off for Northview, gets a short end-over-end kick. Carlos Frazier is going to take about the 26-yard line. He's going to fight his way down to the 35. And Jeff, the first half, we saw both teams, Dothan and Northview, capitalizing on turnovers, turning them into touchdowns. And Northview missed their extra point. Dothan's got 2 field goals from Drew Johnston, and we're just a touchdown. Touchdown separates Dothan High and Northview here for the start of the third quarter of the city championship.
Well, it was a great played first half, and we look forward to the second half being the same way. Adams 1st and 10 for the Tigers, hand off to Keon Young over the right side. A lot of running room. Keon Young breaks into the Cougar secondary and gets down to about the Northview 43-yard line, picks up the first down. As we are saying, both the Cougars and Tigers had a great first half, offensively and defensively. Not a lot of points scored. Tigers come in, I know they're averaging about 24 points a game. I'm not sure what Northview's averaging, but this is a great ball game like we said. Here we go, 1st and 10 for the Tigers from the Cougar 44-yard line. Adams under center. Hands off to Young over the left side. He breaks into the Cougar secondary, and he is off to the races. One man to beat, and into the end zone. Touchdown Tigers. 2 plays into the second half. Ron, Tigers come out running the ball. 2 big runs by Keon Young, and just like that, the Tigers have jumped up to a 13-point lead now.
Hats off to Carlos Frazier, downfield blocking. He looked like he was losing his balance, but he was staying with his man there across the goal line. Keon did a good job of playing off his block and finding the crack to get into the end zone.
Drew Johnston set for the point after. Kick is up and good. Tigers go up 20-6 to start the third quarter off. Just 40 seconds into the third quarter, and the Tigers scored, but I believe that we had, it looked like a little breakdown with the Cougar secondary there. The Tigers came out real quick. They ran 2 quick plays, and I don't believe they gave the Cougar defense, who has played well all night, the opportunity to really set up and adjust to what the Tigers had done, and Adams just handed the ball off quick to Young on 2 great runs and into the end zone.
Keon Young, the talented sophomore for Dothan High School. And on the touchdown play there was a yellow balloon that was floating. And from our point of view, it looked like it was a flag on about the 20-yard line. I kept seeing it, and glad it wasn't a penalty on the play. As you just hate to see those flags, no matter who is called for or against. Just hate to see a ball game that's marred by penalties.
Exactly, and this has really been a penalty-free ball game. Back at the latter part of the first half, we did have the kick down here close to the close sidelines for the Tigers. One of the officials got hurt, but I see him back out on the field to play, I believe. So good luck to him. Hopefully he is okay. Do see him back here. He was one of the side judges, and maybe he's okay, just a little bruised up, but he did take a rough lick. Johnson set to kick the ball off for the Tigers. Good high end-over-end kick.
Taken by Batts at the 4-yard line. Batts with running room. He's around the left side up to the 30-yard line. And another
stop made there by number 11, John Hughes, as Batts turned around the outside line there and had a good run back for the Cougars, about a 27-yard run before he was met by John Hughes at the 30-yard line of the Cougars. And there's where they'll take over 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line, trailing in the ball game 20-6. Third quarter just underway here at Northview Stadium.
I see Tommy Gilbert's back in at quarterback. He brings Northview to the line, stacked in the I. Brooks is the tailback. And here's the trickery. Going to have a double reverse and a pass.
And boy, I'm going to tell you what, the Tigers did that, and number 17, Ramiko Forrester, was wide open down here on the Tiger 40-yard line, and that's who they were going to, but he just hesitated just a little bit. with the pass, after they had the little end-around reverse pass play there, you saw a wrinkle come out by the Cougars. Great call by the Cougar coaching staff, and they had the Tigers beaten, but Ramiko just was not able to get the ball in his hands to take off. And it was a quick 6 points for the Cougars, but nonetheless, they take over second down now.
Gilbert under center. The handoff's going to be to Brooks around the left side. He's got running room, and he is out over the 40-yard line, looks like, for a first down for the Northview Cougars.
I couldn't tell who made the stop on the far side. A great run by Brooks, and as I said in the first half, Ron, I'm going to tell you, I am very impressed with the junior from Northview in Brooks. He's got a lot of speed, got good open field burst of speed. He's strong. He's a real talented runner. He finds a hole, finds a seam, and he's done a great job in the first half for Northview, and I look to see him big here in the second half for the Cougar offense.
Northview first and 10. Ball rests on the 40-yard line. Gilbert under center. Tigers showing blitz, and the handoff was to Brooks again. Looked like he was met by Creekmore, Hughes.
I think Creekmore was the first one that got in and stuck him and stood him up. And once you stand him up with the speed of that Tiger defense, it's just about over then. Even though Brooks had good leg momentum, kept his legs driving forward, he did stop from a big loss by keeping it forward. And here they go again, Cougars second and about 10 and a half.
Gilbert takes a three-step drop, and he throws a strike out to number 30, Anthony Spann. It bounced off his hands.
Spann was there for him on the little crossing over route, and Gilbert made a good pass to him, and as you said, Spann just couldn't hold on to it. Tiger defense was a little hesitant on that play as they was rushing in, but Gilbert did a great job, just looks like 2 or 3 steps back, and then the left-hander from Northview makes a good quick pass across the middle, and Spann just unable to hold on to it. Brings up 3rd and 11. Tigers bring a big blitz, and they're going to drop Gilbert for a big loss of about 4.5 on the play. There was nowhere for Gilbert to go there. The Tiger defense just stormed him as he received the ball back.
I was just getting ready to say Gilbert drops back to pass, and then the Tigers all over him. Going to force Northview into a 4th and 15. Ball on the 35-yard line. Anthony Spann will be in to attempt his, is this his 3rd punt tonight? Or
I believe it's the 3rd, maybe the 4th. Adams deep for the Tigers to receive the punt.
Takes a Cougar roll. Entrel's going to watch it roll dead about the 20-yard line. So Dothan High will be in business 1st and 10 at their own 20 with 8:50 left in the 3rd quarter.
And I'm going to tell you what, the way this Cougar defense has been playing, the Tigers don't need any mistakes here, because if they do, the Cougar defense is going to eat up this ball right here and keep the Cougars in good field play. 1st and 10 for the Tigers from their own 20-yard line, leading the ball game. 8:50 to go in the 3rd quarter. Dothan Tigers up 20-6 over the Northview Cougars. Adams under center, 1st and 10 from their own 20. Handoff, I wasn't for sure who received the ball there, but he's dropped by a host of Cougars on the defense. Keon Young was the ball carrier, gain of about 6 on the play, maybe 7. Bring up 2nd and 3.
The situation that Dothan High likes to be in, 2nd and short.
Adams under the center. Handoff, it looked like to Caleb Dick and went nowhere, did he? Maybe gain of 2. Terrell Brooks.
Terrell Brooks on the carry. Tackled by number 40, and the PA announcer said his name is Matt Palmer, I believe.
Brooks gains 2 on the play, brings up 3rd and 1 for the Tigers from their own 33-yard line. Adams under center. Handoff goes straight through the middle, and I wasn't for sure there again who received the ball. Let's see who gets it. Looks like Brooks received it again, didn't it? No, that was Keon Young on the carry. Gains 3 yards for the Dothan first down.
Looked like Matt Palmer again on the stop. Matt Palmer, number 40, who in the first half we didn't have his name in the program. Got it from the PA announcer. He's a good, solid defensive lineman there for Northview.
Well, the Cougars have got a great defensive squad here, as they've shown against the Tigers. Adams on 1st and 10, rolls around the outside, tripped up in the backfield, I believe by his own man. Carlos Frazier tripped him, and then gave the Cougars time for pursuit to get across.
Carlos blocking number 6, John Knight. John Knight did a good job of standing his ground and didn't give Entrell much room to run.
Gain of 2 on the play for the Dothan Tigers. Brings up 2nd and 8 from the Cougar 33.5-yard line. Cougar defense has played great throughout this ball game in spite of the score. Adams under center. Oh, we got flags everywhere, got movement everywhere. Let's wait and see who this call is going against. Dothan's pointing at Northview, and Northview's pointing at Dothan. I believe it's going to go against Dothan for a little movement there.
You're right. The left side of the line, Dothan High, moved prematurely.
Well,
back them up 5 yards and bring up a 2nd down and about 12.
Well, it looked like when the defensive end for Northview jumped, he didn't go across the line, but it made Fred Foster break his stance. And once you break your stance after you're down, it's a motion to call against you. So it loss of 5 brings up 2nd down and 13 for the Tigers. Adams from the shotgun. Tucks the ball and runs up to the middle, and he's met at the line, the original line of scrimmage. I tell you, Ron, I see a lot of handshaking going on down there. Good plays, patting each other on the back and all. That speaks well of both of these squads from Northview and Dothan. Even though it is a big city rivalry, I like to see that in these players down here, patting each other on the back and showing good sportsmanship.
Well, these kids have grown up together. They played Little League football and baseball together. And I'm sure you probably find some friendships, even though they do wear opposite jerseys.
Adams from the shotgun again. Pass across the middle to Tyree Dury, number 3. Gain of about 13 on the play. Picks up a 1st and 10 for the Tigers from their own 42-yard line, maybe the 43-yard line. 5:34 to go in the 3rd quarter. Tigers still lead 20-6.
Tackled by number 28, Josh Smith. Tigers will have a 1st down, though, and Northview needs to see what they can do about getting a stop here and to keep advantage of the field position.
Adams from the shotgun. Hands the ball off to Dury, who goes in motion. Gain about maybe 1 on the play.
Tackled by number 9, Tony Carroll.
I'll tell you what, Ron, talking about this Cougar defense, they've been impressive in this ball game, and I'm, we've played some of the same teams from the Dothan side that Northview has, and I'm surprised the way the scores have been against the Cougars with the defense as strong as they've been tonight. They have been very impressive, with a winless season. They're a strong, quick bunch.
They have number 9, Carroll, on the last stop there. Did a good job of coming off his block, sacrificing his body to stop Dothan High with just a 1-yard gain on 1st down. Brandon Williams had an equipment problem there. I see Jason Austin checking in at right guard.
Brings up 2nd 9 for the Tigers. Adams from the shotgun. Drops back to pass. Being rushed heavy by the Cougar defense, and there we go. The speed of the Cougars drop Adams for about a 6-yard loss there.
Number 19, Brandon Martin, caught on trail by the jersey. And number 79, Nicholas Robertson.
Great
there
pursuit.
to finish him off.
Great pursuit by the Cougar defense as Adams dropped back from the shotgun. They just never gave up. They kept fighting in, and like we said a while ago, the spunk of this Cougar defense is just surprisingly so that they've been on the short end of the points scored throughout this 2004 season, and they've got a winless record right now because this defense is very strong and quick. 3rd and 15 for the Tigers. Adams from the shotgun. Hands the ball off to Keon Young, and he is going nowhere. Another great defensive play by the Northview Cougars.
Number 79, Nicholas Robertson, the first to hit him. Number 34, Jeremy Thomas there to help him out. Going to bring up a 4th and 15 and a punting situation for the Tigers.
It'll be the first time that Dothan Tigers have punted in this ball game.
The first time Josh Lashley's seen action.
Back deep for the Cougars to receive it is A.J. Batts, number 4. High snap. Lashley just does get the punt away as it was blocked.
I believe it was blocked, and number 28, Josh Smith, tried to field it, and it squirted through his hands and is recovered by Dothan High.
I believe the Tigers, we got a little discussion by the officials, but I believe the Tigers recovered the ball, but let's wait and see what the call is. The punt was blocked partially, and they're showing 1st and 10 for the Cougars from the Tiger 43-yard line.
So I'm not sure what the rule book reads, Jeff, but if the punt was touched, they reversed
the call now, and they're giving the ball to the Tigers on something that's got everybody confused up here because they first come up and said Cougar ball.
Well, I was about to try to make an attempt at least making up an explanation, but the officials did get together and have made the correct call.
Well, a great job there by the Cougar defense as they got in and they partially blocked the ball off of the foot of Lashley, and they tried to recover it, and, once they did, the ball just kind of squirted out of their hands, and Tigers recovered it, so they got 1st and 10 for the Tigers now from the Cougar 42. Adams under center. Little quick pass over the middle to Fred Foster, and he gets into the Cougar backfield, gets down to about the 37-yard line of the Northview Cougars. That was a little quick play there, and I don't believe the Cougars were able to adjust to that one again like we saw earlier.
They weren't. The ball looked like maybe it was going to be thrown a little hard. Fred did a good job of getting his hands on it. Stopped by Ramiko Forrester.
1st and 10 Tigers from the Cougar 38-yard line. Adams under center. Hands the ball off to Keon Young. Bounces off. Got a little running room. Keon Young breaks into the backfield of the Cougars down to about the 21-yard line of the Northview Cougars. A great job of running there by number 7, Keon Young, as he broke into the Cougar backfield, breaking tackles as he was going.
And another stop way down the field for Ramiko Forrester, as he's a defensive end, Jeff, and he's doing a good job of getting in pursuit and helping the secondary of Northview. So Northview's going to take a timeout with 2:33 left in the third quarter with the score 20-6.
And the thing about it is, Ryan, like we said, the Cougar defense has been strong throughout 3 quarters of play, almost 3 quarters of play. I'm surprised here in the third quarter they've got a little bit of breakdown going on, and I'm not for sure what's causing it, but I tell you what, the Tigers are capitalizing on the Cougar breakdown as well as the Cougar defense played in the first half. It's kind of surprising to see that here in the third quarter.
It is. I don't know if Dothan High, if the adjustments they made at halftime. Keon Young doing a good job coming out in the third quarter and making some strong runs, not going down after first contact. And a lot of times after second and third contact, it's taking 2 or 3 Cougars to drag him down.
2:33 remaining in the third quarter. Dothan High leads the ball game 20-6. 1st and 10 for the Tigers from the Cougar 21-yard line. Adams under center. Hand off to Keon Young in motion. Comes around the left side. Good block out here. Keon Young is going to be run out of bounds about the 9-yard line of the Northview Cougars. And looks like he will pick up a first down, so it's going to be 1st and goal for the Tigers from the 9.
Run out of bounds by Ramiko Forrester again. And Keon looked like he broke free. He was still in bounds, and it looked like it surprised him that he had gotten free. Maybe he thought he's closer to the sidelines than he was.
Well, then he just ran out of bounds and stops the clock with 2:26 to go, and, no sense in anybody getting hurt on either side of the field. First and goal for the Tigers from the Cougar 9. Adams under center. Dick in motion. Handoff goes to Keon Young over the right side, and he is going nowhere.
Stopped by number 9, Carroll. Number 14, I don't have a name for number 14 for Northview. The Cougars doing a good job there of holding Dothan High to no gain. Going to bring up a second goal from the 9 for Dothan High. Cougars need to bow their backs here.
I tell you, that was a good first down defensive stand by the Cougars. Second goal here, Adams under center. Handoff goes to Keon Young over the right side. Got a little running room, and looks like he gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers.
He did break the plane of the goal line.
Well, I see the Cougars running the ball back, but I believe he had already broken into the end zone, and they had signaled touchdown before the Cougars took the ball out of his hand and ran back down the field.
Once it breaks the plane with it in possession, it is a touchdown.
Well,
the ball becomes dead then.
That goes back to that play we had a few weeks ago, the touchdown pass we thought by Landry Bodie, and then they ruled it an incomplete pass. But here we go, 6 points on the board. Johnston in for the extra point. Kick is up. And it's good. So a timeout on the field. A minute 38 remaining in the third quarter. Dothan High up 26-6 over the Northview Cougars.
Drew Johnston tees it up for Dothan High School.
Minute 38 to go in the third quarter. Tigers lead the Northview Cougars by a score of 27-6. Johnston with a little pooch kick. Fielded about the 22-yard line.
Number 24 is another name we don't have in the program.
Stop made by Drew Johnson. Derek Creekmore, number 51. So the Tigers take over first and 10 from their own 30-yard line, trailing by 21 points. And I tell you, the Northview Cougar offense needs to put a drive together here to get the Cougars back in this ball game.
You're exactly right. Northview unable to get their offense on track very much here, with the exception of the short drive for a touchdown that they had. Gilbert brings them up. He's under center with the backs in the eye. He's going to fake to Brooks, roll out to the left side, and throw one through the hands of Fred Foster.
Fred Foster there defended that play. He had the ball in his hands, and he was looking to run before he ever actually took the ball in. Tommy Gilbert had a guy on the right side that was wide open, but he never looked this way as he had the defender, Landry Bodie, beaten down the field. He just rolled straight to his left, and he went to the power side of his throwing arm with him being a left-handed quarterback.
Going to bring up a 2nd and 10 for Northview. Gilbert back to pass. He's going to throw the ball behind number 30, Anthony Spann.
Well, he really had no choice on that as the Tigers came with a blitz, and they were all in Gilbert's face, and he had to get rid of that ball to save a sack, and wisely throws it behind receiver Spann, because if he had thrown it the other way, the Tigers had another chance at a pick there or knocking the ball down, and really not a bad incomplete pass there, Ron, as Gilbert throws behind Spann.
Going to bring up a 3rd and 10. Dothan, with the last scores, forced Northview to do what looks like they may be uncomfortable throwing the ball. They need a big play here. Gilbert drops back to pass. He avoids the rush from Jeremy Dent, and then Dent comes back to get him.
Dent stopped Gilbert in the backfield, and then he was stopped by 3 or 4 more Tigers. So the Cougar offense unable to answer the 7 points by the Dothan High Tigers, and it's going to force them into a punt situation here with the clock running with 50 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
4th and 12 for Northview. Anthony Spann back to punt.
Got timeout, Northview.
Tyree Dury's back deep to receive, so I see Entrel's not going to return the punt this time for the Tigers.
Boy, I tell you, the Cougars had an opportunity there to come out and get something started, maybe needed to put a little fire under the offense. The defense has played a great game for Northview thus far in the game. Had a couple of big gains for the Dothan Tigers, but other than that, the Cougar defense they played a good ball game, and the offense just has not been able to get the wheels turning. And I don't know if that's due to the quickness of the Dothan Tiger defense or what, but I've been very surprised in the Northview Cougar defense offense after the first series of plays. Really, they've been out of this ball game, Ron.
Well, Coach Harris is not he's there at his first year at Northview. He's got the numbers are not out that you would usually expect to see in a 6A school like Northview, and looks like the defense may be just getting worn down by the Dothan Tigers. Span gets off a high, the deep spiraling punt that Dury's going to go through his hands, and almost the break that Northview needed there, as he was able to fall back on the ball.
Well, and Dury wisely just fell back on the ball and didn't try to pick it up or run or anything, because he was being pushed hard there by number 19, Brandon Martin, from the Cougars on the punt coverage team. And he just did a great job of holding on to it. But like you said, if Northview gets that ball back, we still got a whole fourth quarter to play. And I'm going to tell you what, this ball game, even though it's 27-6, it's not over yet, because the Cougar offense could get fired up just any time here. Adams under center, 1st and 10 for the Tigers from their own 28-yard line.
There it is.
Fumble on the play, and there is the turnover that the Northview Cougars were looking for.
We don't have number 14. We don't have him listed in the program. He was there to recover the fumble. It looked like as soon as Entrel handed off to Keon might have had a little trouble getting a handle on the ball and was hit.
Well, and the Cougar defense was in the offensive backfield there of the Tigers. And what we talked about earlier, they're strong and they're quick, and they got in and they were able to knock the ball loose. And this could be the turning point for the Northview Cougar offense here. 1st and 10 from the Tigers' 27-yard line, and see what they do from here.
I see they've changed quarterbacks, changed the offenses. I see A.J. Batt back in shotgun formation for Northview. He's going to fake the handoff and keep it over the left side, picks up about 3 yards.
I saw Brandon Williams and looked like Derek Creekmore in on the stop for the Tigers. Cougars offense now is coming in here with a little bit of wrinkle by putting Batts in at quarterback. I guess they put a hands man in to run the little quarterback keeper and try to get something out of it and catch the Tigers defense off guard.
Well, it just gives another option for Northview as they come to the end of the third quarter. Dothan High leading the Northview Cougars 27-6. We'll be right back after these messages.
Your number one source for high school sports. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.
Welcome back to Riverview Stadium. There's the second down play.
A big
Northview
stop.
Cougars.
Big stop there by the Tigers. Number 68, Jason Austin.
The snap looked like it was a direct snap to number 34. Number 34, Jeremy Thomas, and it bounced off his shoulder pads, and A.J. Batt, who was lined up at quarterback in the shotgun formation beside Thomas, was able to pick the ball up and or fall on the ball for a loss of about 5 yards for the Cougars.
Cougars offense showing a few little wrinkles here, Ron, coming out with bats and direct snaps off the side. It's kind of nice to see it. And here we go again with 3rd and 14.
Bat's going to be under center for the first time. I don't believe I've seen him under center. He's going to take the snap.
Tigers showing blitz, and there's Creekmore.
Derek Creekmore with a big stop.
Derek Creekmore run in on the blitz, and he gave Bats nowhere to go as drops him for about an 11-yard loss.
So that's going to bring up a 4th and 23-24 for the Cougars.
About 25.
25, okay.
I can't get you on my footballs on tonight because that's a little bit too long. But the game's not over.
Forces Anthony Spann back in punt formation again.
Tigers have nobody deep to receive it.
It's getting down to the time where you can expect just about anything. There's a low snap. Spann's going to field it, get his punt off. Takes a Northview roll down to the 6-yard line. So Dothan High will put the ball in play, 1st and 10 with 10 minutes and 12 seconds left in the fourth quarter. 1st and 10.
Cougars defense needs to come up big here, stop the Tigers, hold them deep in their own territory, and then get the ball back and put some points on the board, and try some of those little wrinkles that they came out with here, and see if they can't get their offense back in it. The defense is there. The defense has been in this ball game the whole night. The offense has just really has not been a factor against this tough Dothan Tiger defense.
Well, the depth of Northview, like I was talking about earlier, the numbers just aren't out over there, and Coach Harris, you can bet will be building that program, as he's got a lot of promising young athletes out, and they've held their ground for as long as they could.
There, Caleb Dick carried the ball on 1st and 10 for the Tigers over the right side. Number 14 is a 9th grader, Spencer Pybus, who I watched him in the 9th grade games, and I'm going to tell you what, that kid is going to be a great ball player for the Northview Cougars. 2nd down and 4 for the Tigers from the 20-yard line of the Cougars. Hand off to Keon Young over the left side. A lot of running room, and there's Spencer Pybus, number 14, is there again to stop him. I'm telling you, this 9th grader is going to be great for the Northview Cougars.
Pybus in on the stop again, along with number 28, Josh Smith. Tigers still able to pick up the 1st down.
Spencer Pybus, number 14 for the Cougars, played both ways on the 9th grade team. A big, strong running back. And here we see him in the middle linebacker's position, actually the outside linebacker. Hand off to Keon Young on 1st and 10. I tell you what, I saw something there. Helmet came off on number 19, Brandon Martin for the Cougars, but he did not stop. He continued over and got in on the tackle of Keon Young.
He didn't quit, and he did. Whenever it came down to it, he got his head stuck in there and got in on the tackle. Keon Young looks like he's down.
Number 7 for the Dothan High Tigers, Keon Young, is down after a carry there. Good stop play made by the Cougar defense to stop him from making any type of a long run. And I tell you what, I like to see this young squad coming in here on defense for the Northview Cougars. Like I said, Spencer Pybus, this is going to be a great boost for him. And as a 9th grader, to get to play in the Dothan Northview ball game, that has got to be a big confidence booster to him, as well as the coaching staff, as well as he's playing on defense for the Cougars.
Well, Coach Harris has come in, and this season, I'm sure the Northview Partisan have expected him to come in his first year and try to take some building blocks and piece together and put together. And these Northview guys, they've done a good job. They've worked hard, and you've seen articles about how whenever they didn't have a coach, whenever they were in search of a coach before they hired Coach Harris, how these guys kept the workouts together. And it's good to see these young guys come in here and be able to contribute so early to a program that you will see come back up.
Oh, yeah, most definitely, especially with the defense, the way they're going now, get the offense online, do a good job. And there again, Cougar defense playing outstanding. Brooks carries the ball over the left side for a gain of about yard, brings up a 3rd down and 6 for the Tigers from the Cougar 35-yard line. And like I said, I still like to see these young players in there for the Northview Cougars get that experience in, because they're going to be tough in the years to come. Adams under center for the Tigers, 3rd and 5. Pitch out to Keon Young, number 7. Cougar defense is going to stop him short of the first down by about 2.5 yards. So the Tigers are going to be in a punting situation here. And the Cougars here again, like we talked about, defense come up big for them again, and they're going to give the ball back to the offense with about 7 minutes to go in the ball game. And they need to get a big play and get the ball in the end zone and get some points.
Jeremy Thomas, Northview linebacker, in on the last 2 stops. He had the big interception earlier, led to the Northview score, and I've seen him in at running back some in the third quarter. Another big rush by the Northview defense. Lashley able to get the punt away. A.J. Batts takes it about his own 35-yard line. Breaks around the right side.
I'm going to tell you what, that was a great rush there by the Cougar line and the defensive ends coming in. They almost got to that punt by Lashley, which was only his second punt of the ball game, and that would have been a huge turnover there for the Cougars if they could have blocked it.
Well, we saw them earlier as they did get a hand on one that Josh Smith tried to field after they did tip it, and Dothan Tigers able to recover the fumble. There again, you saw them break through, and
Tigers have the ball 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line. 7:22 to go in the ball game, trailing 27-6.
Bat brings the Cougars to the line. Under center, he turns and pitches back to number 31, Brooks, who's got running rooms off to the – he came over to the left side, broke it back across the field, made it across midfield and down to about the 42-yard line of the Dothan Tigers. And there's Brooks, you talked about earlier, a good-looking back for Northview. He's listed as a junior, so that's a name you can look for next year.
Well, and the Cougars have a lot going for them in that stance. Is like I said, we've got to see some young players that are quick, they're strong, and they do not mind running over people, around people, or whatever. And I tell you, it's impressive that the Cougars are coming out. The coaching staff are working with them. You know, only being the first-year head coach there. Next year, you can look for great things out of this Northview Cougar football squad.
Coach Harris is a young coach. I know Chip from years back. We used to play a little pickup basketball down around Cottonwood and Ashford, and I know that he's competitive. And you can look for Coach Harris to keep a fire lit over at Northview, be it in the gym, in the workout gym, or on the practice fields, and he'll pull this program back and build, like we've been talking about, build on the positives that he's got throughout the year here. Bats 1st and 10, fakes the handoff, rolls out to the left. Pass intended for number 40, Matt Palmer. Bats, another left-handed quarterback for Northview.
Cougars showing a lot of southpaw capability here. As we said, Bats is only an 11th grader also, so you know this is good experience for him right here, and it's going to be great for this Cougar offense next year. The defense is doing a good job. Cougar offense gets wound up here. You can look for, like we said, Cougars are going to be back in contention again.
2nd and 10, Northview. Bats under center, takes and pitches back to number 31, Brooks, around the left end. Another first down as Brooks picks up about 12 down to the 30 of Dothan High. And
stop was made there by John Hughes for the Tigers after the first down make.
Jeff, you wonder why with the talent of Brooks, why he's not getting more touches is
well, in that situation, you don't want him to start keying on just one player because the Tiger defense is strong and quick, and you want to try to limit that and mix it up as much as you can. And a lot of great things out of this guy. Got flags on the play. I don't know if Tigers may have jumped off sides as they were showing blitz coming from this side, and I believe we're going to step off 5 against the Tigers, which will move the Cougars 5 yards closer.
I saw Brooks was limping after the last play, and I saw whenever they came to the line, penalty is going to be against Northview. False start.
I sure thought that one was going to go against the Tigers.
Brooks is still limping. Whenever they came to the line just a minute ago, it looked like he and fullback Jeremy Thomas kind of switched on their own, and Thomas went to tailback. The ball blown dead. Brooks back at tailback. Batts is going to hand off to Brooks, and he's not going to go anywhere.
Looked like Dent was in the backfield there to make the stop for the Tigers before he could even get back to the line of scrimmage.
Wrapped up by Jeremy Dent, who does his usual rain dance after a big play stop for a loss.
Clock running, 5:40 to go in the ball game here. Northview Cougars lead the Dothan High Tigers by a score of 27-6. Second down and 16 for the Cougars from the Tiger 36-yard line.
Batts going to drop back, throws out to Anthony Spann, who flips back to Brooks. The hook and ladder.
A great play there by the Cougar offense, Ron. Outstanding. A good play by Spann. A good flip back to Brooks. That was, I'm going to tell you what, that was pretty. If you ever saw one out of a textbook, that was it. That was wonderful. Spann barely touched the ground, pitched the ball back, and down the field Brooks went.
A hook and lateral as Spann did the hook portion. He runs out about 6 yards and turns in. Bat hits him with a strike, and as soon as he takes possession of the ball, pitches back to Brooks. 1st and 10 Northview from their own, from the Dothan High 17-yard line. Batts pitches back to Brooks, and Brooks picks up another 7 yards.
John Hughes made the initial stop, number 11 for the Tigers. Then Brooks actually had to be brought down by, looked like 5 or 6 Tiger defenders there. I'm going to tell you what, this is a strong junior for the Northview Cougar running side.
And Brooks is still limping, but he stays in the game. Shows a lot of heart by the young tailback.
Well, anything can still happen. He don't want to give up in this ball game. 4 minutes to go in the ball game, trailing 27-6 and threatening to score.
Northview doing a good job of moving the ball. Batts takes the ball, hands off to Brooks.
Paul Reeves in on the stop for the Tigers as he tripped up Brooks in the backfield, and then Derek Creekmore finished him off for the Tigers with no gain on the play.
He stopped for about a yard loss. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 5. And Northview's going to take a timeout. With 3:47 left in the 4th quarter. Down 27-6, but they are driving the ball, Jeff. They've shown good promise here, moving the ball here in the latter part of the 4th quarter.
Well, and you can look for great things out of this Cougar offense over the course of the next couple of years. A lot of young players in there that are getting some good experience against this big, strong Tiger defense. And next year you can look for players like Brooks and Batts, Spencer Pybus, who I feel like, we might see him in a starting role next year as a running back for the Cougars, being in as a sophomore. He's a great defender, and we've watched him tonight come in big as a linebacker, make some big stops on some good, strong runners for the Dothan High Tigers.
Had a fumble recovery.
Fumble recovery, and you get kids like that are in here playing this ball game, and this type ball game, and they're holding their own. They're going to be great, outstanding players and standouts for the team Cougars next year.
3rd and 5, Northview. Batts under center, Spann in motion, and
looks like he fumbled the ball on the handoff.
Mix up on the exchange between the center and the quarterback. So Batts falls on the ball.
And here, I believe if you're the Cougars, you have to go for it, trailing 27-6 with 3:30 left in the ball game. Look for them they may pull out another wrinkle here.
Batts goes over to confer with Coach Harris.
Look for Brooks to have the ball somewhere off of one of the sides, as strong and quick a runner as he is, and just try to push the ball down and get the 1st down. Not as much worried about the touchdown right now.
Batts in the shotgun. He drops back. He's going to throw.
Oh, just off of the fingers of the receiver.
Intended for Anthony Spann, number 30. Pass incomplete, so the Tigers will take over. first and 10 from their own 12-yard line.
Bats had Spann in the end zone, and it was just one of those balls that was going to have to be caught on the fingertips as he overthrew him just a little bit to the inside part of the field, and Spann wasn't able to get there to get to the ball. It looked like a pretty good thrown ball, though, coming off of the southpaw bats out of the shotgun formation. Had a good, strong rush, too, by the Tiger defense, and he's still able to get the ball away.
Tyree Dury on the coverage for the Tigers, and
Tigers take over first and 10 from the Cougar 11, leading the ball game 27-6. Handoff to Caleb Dick over the left side. Gain of about 4 on the play to bring up second down and 6. Looks like the Tigers with 2:40 left to go in the ball game, they're going to be content just keeping the ball on the ground and not do anything fancy, because this Cougar defense has played strong this whole ball game, and especially the third and this fourth quarter, they've really come on good.
there you have on the first down carry by Dick, you have Spencer Pybus, number 14, the freshman, back in on the stop.
Second down for the Cougars. Adams under center. Tigers, I'm sorry. Adams under center. Watching the play, run down, clock. Handoff over the right side. Number 14, Philip Thomas. Thomas is also a sophomore for the Tigers. Picks up the first down, kind of scampered through there. Looked like a little cricket on his feet, maybe a little spider or something. After he was hit at the line, he just kind of kept on going. So a minute 50 to go in the ball game. First and 10 for the Tigers from the Cougars' 25-yard line. Adams under center. Letting the clock run down, eat up the clock before they snap the ball.
I see him looking at a Dothan High coach over here who's
handoff again, same thing. Philip Thomas over the right side, just keeping the ball on the ground. Minute 25 to go. Looks like he gained about 6 yards on the play to bring up second 4. I couldn't tell who made the stop for the Cougars. Could you?
yeah, I couldn't tell them. Had a big pile.
You see the broken hearts out there on the defensive squad right now by the Cougars. They're just kind of content with not letting them break any big play and let the clock run out and get out of here. They've played their heart out. It's been a great ball game by the Northview Cougars as well as the Dothan Tigers. Adams hands the ball off to Thomas again over the left side. Run
down by Spencer Pybus. Spencer Pybus showing a little speed there too.
40 seconds to go in the ball game. First and 10 for the Tigers, and that'll just about do it here, as probably going to see the Tigers just run the clock out as they lead the ball game 27-6 over the Northview Cougars. What has turned out to be a ball game that I really did not expect to see the score like this, especially after the way the game started. And you hate it for the Northview Cougars, and it's been a great ball game. Thomas on the handoff over the left side, picks up another Tiger first down, and that will definitely do it. Clock down to 10 seconds to go in the ball game. First and 10 for the Tigers at the 48-yard line of Northview, and that's going to wind it down as the clock is going to run out. The Dothan High Tigers have defeated the Northview Cougars by a final score of 27-6, and Ron, we hate to see it happen with a score like that because the Cougar defense played a great job.
They did a great job, Jeff, and I know being from Dothan, everybody like Alabama and Auburn, they have their side. They've got their colors that they represent. But these guys from Dothan High congratulating the Northview Cougars on playing a hard ball game, a hard, tough ball game. Northview's got a lot of promise, as we said, and we just want to let those guys know that we admire the job that they're doing. They're working hard. We know that they're coming back, and Coach Kelly and the staff made sure that Dothan Tigers didn't take them lightly this week.
Well, the thing about it is, too, like we said, the Cougar defense, they came on strong. We look for a lot of great things. The Cougar offense came on heavy. They did a decent job. There's some kinks there that I feel like the coaching staff's going to work out before next year. Some young players there on that squad, and I look for great things out of this Cougar football team next year. And Tigers, of course, they're going to have another good round, I hope, next year.
Well, we just want to make sure that everybody knows the city of Dothan, you got a lot to be proud of in these two ball teams and these two schools. Each one representing a lot of good kids, a lot of good parents. The bands, they work hard all year long, cheerleaders, and the city of Dothan's proud of all of you. And we want to wish Northview good luck. We're looking for you to get that win soon, and continued success for the Dothan Tigers as we'll be pulling for Enterprise to beat Phoenix City and maybe us get a big win against Smith Station too to help us get into the playoffs.
Well, and that's what you said. It's going to take a win by Enterprise over Central for us to, if we beat Smith Station, to make it into the playoffs, and that's what we're looking forward to, and try to wind up a great year. For Ron Herring, I'm Jeff Speed. Final score from Northview Stadium: the Dothan High Tigers defeat the Northview Cougars 27-6.
Your #1 source for high school sports. You're watching the Scenic Sports Network.